and this week we are going to take a look at a new autocycle that is in the works. So, Jim Beattie's son is currently working on the next generation of Litestar, being called the Litestar-E1 or the Electric Litestar. I haven't figured out quite what name they're going by. It seems like they're going by Litestar-E2, but Electric Litestar is also a very adept name since it is actually an electric vehicle. So the company he's working under is Autocycle Corp. They've got some pictures of the old pulses on here, and the website's got some actually really cool information. So there's a home, news, purchase, trade shows, newsletters, links, and contact us. The news one I'll get to. It has a lot of cool stuff in it. Purchase is coming soon. It doesn't have any information on price, any of the range details, or capacity, and I'm really looking forward to those specs coming out. He's currently working on prototype 2 of this vehicle, and I'm very excited to see what that looks like because he'll be bringing it to some trade shows this year. So he had the 2020 Litestar Pulse Owners Group as what he was going to bring it to last year. He didn't end up coming, but this year he is planning to bring prototype 2 to the 2021 Oshkosh and to the 2021 Litestar Pulse Owners Group in Marion, Indiana, at the Fly-In Cruisin'. So I look forward to seeing it there because I will be at the Fly-In Cruisin' in Marion, Indiana, and hopefully I'll get some good video walking around it and get to show it off to all of those of you interested. He also has a newsletter sign up where you can put your information in and get some updates from them. I've done this and I'm really looking forward to their first one coming out. Links, they've actually got the autocycles.org website. This is where all the information about the original Litestar and Pulse is stored. Those of us that have one have been collecting information there for several years now. So he's got links to all of that information and then recognition to Pulse owners that have been helping him in his journey. He's also got a contact us page with some quick way to send them some information if you want information yourself. But now on to my favorite page on their website. And they've also got a Facebook page with this same information on it. This is their news. And they've got so many cool pictures. It's mostly just pictures, not necessarily articles. But they've got pictures of the first prototype coming out of the box, all the molds that they're working with, and these they look so cool. Oh, clicked the wrong button there. And so we can see, actually if I go back to, let's look at the start of this set of pictures. They've got showing mold prep as they're working to get the molds ready for layup, some jigging, fixture jigging they're working on here. And they're actually using this beautiful 2020 frame to make sure everything is square, and that is a super great way to do that. And so I was very excited to see using some spot-on manufacturing methods. But we can see the structure. This center tube here is actually where he's planning to have all the electronics housed. And then from the sounds of it, the batteries will sit in the back section here, and the main drivers and computers will sit basically between our legs on the center tube. You can see a seat mocked up in there. There it is inside the fairing for the first time. The second seat. And yeah, it's pretty tight in there, but that's pretty normal. He could have possibly pushed this back a little bit further to increase basically the cabin volume. But we can see two people squished in here and they work pretty well together in there. Here's the frame with the first prototype outriggers, and their outriggers are still in a prototyping phase. I got a hold of him and he said that that's one of the things they're still working on. They were just working to get the vehicle functional, and now they're working to make the outriggers stable. So these outriggers are a little flimsy, but it is something that they're in the works on, and that makes me feel very confident that they're going to be working to make this vehicle a little safer. Hoping to see the addition of some roll bars here in the future, because that's just driver safety. I know it's not necessary on a vehicle that's classified as a motorcycle, but I think most of us would feel more comfortable seeing roll bars added in the future. And we can see the fairing going around, the first prototype. So this is prototype 1 of Litestar-E2. And these are brand new riggers, which I'm really excited about. So the original Litestars have their own specific type of rigger, the Pulses have their own type of rigger, and now Litestar-E2 is going to have its own specific type of rigger. And so that's really going to be the identifier between them, is the rigger variants. And I'm excited to see these rigger variants out in the wild. He's got the CAD of how the whole thing goes together. I really like it when I can see that someone spent the time to design the vehicle before just jumping into building it. Here's his front and rear wheel. The rear one has the hub motor built into it. See the nice motor there. I'd love to know what the kilowatts on that motor is. And then there's the brakes added on the outside of that. Their first bench testing with the battery pack there, and the ESC. Another picture of the frame and the fairing, and we're back to the beginning of that photo set. And we jump on to the next one. We got more work with the frame. And each set of photos is labeled from when they were doing this work. This steering box, I'd love to know what the steering box they're using here is. Hopefully I'll get to ask him some more of those questions in the future. Here is your brake and gas. He's got 2 master cylinders here. I'm guessing this is just a little bit more of a racing, probably something from Summit Racing, or actually it looks like it's Willwood brake setup. But for your front and rear brakes, one pedal controls 2 separate master cylinders. It is a nice way to do it in case one master cylinder fails, the other one doesn't have any issues. More pictures of the frame and its jigging. The first powder coat on it, that's pretty. Steering hooked up. I still really want to know what that steering box is. There's the shocks on the front, and he has done a different style of loop here. It's still the same basic concept of how the Pulse and Litestar front forks work, but he's got his own variant on that. He's also got a custom swing arm here on the back for holding the electric motor, and I really like the look of that. There it is mounted. He's using a monoshock. I'm thinking he can actually get away with the monoshock in the back just because of how light it is without the engine weight. It'll still to be seen if that maintains a monoshock into the final production version, but I think he can actually get away with it just based on the weight of the vehicle. More pictures from the front. He's building up the dash connection for where the steering wheel needs to go. Oh, and actually, yes, here it is. He did go to a dual shock version. I'd missed this picture previously, so has gone to dual shocks. A couple of these are duplicates, but oh, and the one I missed. Here's his electronics. Here's all the electronics laid out here. For the time being, they just plopped them on the top so they're easy to service. In your prototyping, you don't want to pack all your electronics into a tight little box that you're having to struggle to function in. But for prototype 1, they're up here. For prototype 2, they'll all be shoved inside the central frame member. But then we get, I'll actually start from the bottom of this one. So this is the completed Litestar-E2 prototype 1. And there's some, he riveted the windows in, and there's some different things that made me a little concerned about, but prototype 2 actually is looking really good. I like getting to see these new outrigger design. Looks really good. I really like these LED brake lights. I think I figured out what they are and bought some for myself to use. We'll see how they work on Pulse 328 as I'm messing with things there. Here's his digital dash on the front. He did just pretty much take a Pulse dash, fiberglass one, cut it apart. I imagine prototype 2 will have something a little cleaner than the way this sits, but at this point in time, he's still trying to figure out how things function, so I respect things not being perfectly clean. You can see how the front forks go through into the wheel well. Apparently he's got the temporary rivets in there holding things together. I don't know if this will be the way he plans to do things in the second prototype. He may change his mind on some stuff, change things back. I've noticed the second prototype has started to integrate more pulse things. Here's the motor on the back with the fairing coming underneath. Charge port is in the same gas spot that the Pulse and Lightstar have always had. So I think it's cool that he's reutilizing that. And it looks super clean. More prototype pictures. And somewhere in here. Okay, some of these are duplicates. We'll just jump through. Oh, that's actually a really cool one. Showing how he was working to rivet the canopy on. He was trying to make it smooth. It's not the most efficient way of attaching it, and I do like what he's going to on the second prototype. So here's the first pieces of the second prototype. So all of the components came back powder coated, and the fairing pieces are all there. We can see them all laid out from a different angle. So what I like on this one is that they've gone ahead and used the rubber trim seal that the pulses use to hold the canopy in. It makes it, or the windscreen in, it makes it very easy to replace the canopy and work underneath the hood. There's no rivets that have to come out, no screws. It's all very just remove the trim, or the rubber trim, and then the canopy, or the windscreen pops out. The canopy is actually glued in, and he did it the same way the Pulse did it. And his attachment on the side is very similar to the Pulse, and I really like seeing that some of the improvements the Pulse made are being pulled into this. We can also see the fairing in the background here. He's having to pull it together. This is a pretty common issue with blank fairings, is that they want to sag open, so you use a clamp to pull them together to make sure everything fits when you're test fitting things without the frame in there, because the frame's actually what ends up holding the vehicle into its structure, or into its shape. Here's the frame in there for the first time. And then here's the frame with all the canopy glass and the windscreen. Actually, these are both polycarbonate, they're not glass. And then the outriggers. And so he's just got to get the front forks on, start building up the back there, and get the back wheel on. But that's as far as their update pictures have gone so far, and I really look forward to seeing further updates in the future, and I'll probably make another video showing those updates. But until then, thanks for watching, and BD, I hope to see one of these things soon.